Hey guys, and welcome back to Banjo-Kazooie. It's time to take on Grunty. It's time for the Final Showdown.
Bring it on.
Look at all those panels we didn't cross over. It's been all strategic and whatnot. You know, you go around the left side, she'll never expect the left side. Well, it's that thing that was in the intro.
Oh, there we go, yeah.
Grunty, I'm literally outside the door where you're at. You can stop trying to intimidate me. We're long past that point now.
Well, yeah, but she thought we'd forgotten about her just by heading off and then realising, oh crap, we didn't beat up Grunty, and then having to come back all the way through.
I love that the door asks for 810 notes instead of a flat 800. That means you have to go into Rusty Bucket Bay at least once to get 10 notes. What a cruel, cruel spell.
Where the hell is Klungo anyway?
Yeah, I guess he just kind of buggered off. You can never get through that door. Mysteries.
Are we going to find out about this in the extras?
Maybe I'll allude to it. I can't really say anything now, otherwise I'll have nothing to say in the next part. Gruntilda. Pro tip. If you don't want me to activate jigsaw piece switches, don't leave jigsaw piece switches around.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, this really wasn't one of her best plans ever, really, was it?
No, I put these pieces in slow because it's important.
Hey, baby.
Much better than the painting in the entrance.
Well, she had to put the decent painting kind of in her evil final area, because, I mean, why not?
The doors opening like this kind of reminds me of, going to fight the final boss in Spyro 3, actually. Well, the non-secret area version of it. Dingpot, by the bench. Who is the nicest looking wench? Not Gruntilda, that's for sure.
It must be that cute barmaid in the inn, yeah. That's a pretty good wench.
Oh, that note door is calling out to me.
I have prizes behind me, and terrible secrets. Oh.
This is Dingpot's character development. He is an abused cauldron.
Well, if she's throwing up with him all the time, then yeah, I can see why he wants to stop her.
Yeah, that's enough for Banjo to leap in and say, don't worry, Dingpot, the abuse ends here. We're gonna take you, we're gonna clean you, we'll make soup in you.
That's not really gonna solve the problem. He's still gonna be dirty afterwards.
Well, soup is better than whatever Gruntilda is placing into his person.
Yeah, we'll just have to make sure to say the magic words of double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble.
Okay.
Macbeth.
Any chance to bring out the Shakespeare, Richie will take it.
Well, of course. I mean, why the hell not?
Yeah. These are just item refills, really. I don't know why they chose to go with a massive version of each item, but it looks cool and it screams finale.
Although you already had 200 eggs, so that one's kind of disappointing.
This door, however, is very special, because we've still got a few jigsaw pieces left. Bada bing.
Oh.
And now we get double health.
Ah, it feels so good.
Kinda takes me back to Ocarina of Time, actually.
Yes, because obviously the final Great Fairy gives you basically double health as well there, doesn't she?
Now, those of you with keen eyes may notice I accidentally skipped over one of the note doors there. Not my fault, the camera didn't pan round enough. We'll get it in the extras part, don't worry. Oh, this final battle. I love this one.
Well, quite fittingly, Grunty's flying high and defying gravity.
Oh, there's a magic broom.
That's enough out of you, Richie. Okay, the final fight against Gruntilda. There's obviously multiple stages. Has to be, it's in the final boss clause. She's going to start by flying about on her broomstick here. I'm not actually sure if the broomstick has a name, but it's got a serious attitude, so make sure it doesn't ram into you.
Broomy.
We'll call it Broomy, that'll do.
There we go, see? We both came up with the same name.
And when you pepper, she'll fire fireballs at you. I am literally a Game FAQ's walkthrough at this point. It has been a very long recording session. Don't ask me how a broom can stall. It's not motorised in any way, which is kind of funny when you flash forward to Tui, and she fights you in a tank called the Hag One.
It's kind of weird they didn't bring that tank. Did they bring that tank back for Nuts and Bolts, now that I think about it?
I honestly can't remember, because you know what happened in the first boss fight in Nuts and Bolts, at least for me?
What happened?
You have to knock an egg out of Gruntilda's cart. I used the default cart, I held down the A button, drove right into it, the egg fell out, I won.
Oh.
Nice.
I put the game down and never played it again.
Yeah, I'd be done too, I think.
I've been holding off on the Nuts and Bolts ire, and I think it, should suffice to say that I don't care for Nuts and Bolts, and I'm honestly perplexed when people call it the best Banjo game, despite it not being a collectathon platformer. That's kind of what the Banjo series is, guys, sorry.
People call it a good Banjo game? That's weird.
I call it a good game if you like, but it's so different to the other Banjo games, it may as well be a different IP entirely, which it probably was to begin with, let's be honest.
I think it was, from what I recall correctly. I think Rare were making that... It was some sort of car game where you built stuff, and then Microsoft was just like, yeah, put Banjo in it, and Rare thinking... Well, not thinking about the last time they were told to forcefully introduce a franchise into a brand new game they were building, decided, yes, let's go with that.
I think I remember it was something along the lines of like Rare Scribes, or something along those lines, like where they answered questions and like talked about upcoming stuff, and there was like a list of options for what's going to happen in the next Banjo game. And I remember reading this on NeoGAF, and I guess hindsight is 2020. One of the options was to do with time travel, which was obviously false because that's already happened in Grunty's Revenge. Gruntilda goes back, I believe, roughly about 20 years or so, and kidnaps Kazooie, so Banjo doesn't have her in the present. And one of the choices was something to do with like cars or vehicles. Oh, how little we knew back then.
I've said this before. I heard the rumors that Nuts and Bolts was basically going to be Banjo 3, but then Executive Meddling kind of got in on it. But again, that's a rumor I heard. I have no idea how true that is or not. It was on 4chan, so...
Now, the note I missed is actually the red feather refill, and this was always the hardest part of the fight for me, because you've just got to slam Gruntilda while you're flying, and you can die if you accidentally aim into the abyss below.
Yeah, I have to say, this bit looks really mean. Like, every single person I've ever seen do this, I mean, the three, including this one
All
that I've ever
three.
seen do this, this has always seemed like the worst bit of the fight, because it's so easy to screw yourself over, and it's not even technically your fault, it's just the way that the game works.
As long as you use the R button to turn sharply, you'll be fine. You gotta be careful, like, if you accidentally slam the floor, don't forget that you'll slide a little bit, so you can very easily fall off the battlements that way.
What sucks about, like, the charge move from what I'm seeing, it takes a bit to wind up, so you gotta make sure you're not aiming directly at Gruntilda, but she's about to fly in your direction because of the wind up, and that seems really irritating to me.
You get the hang of it eventually, but it is a very finicky kind of thing. Thankfully, it doesn't last that long. This is a very fluid boss fight. One of my favourites of the N64 era. Number one, the music is great. He's got kind of like dueling banjos in it, which is perfect for a final boss fight.
There you go.
I think this is probably one of the... I think it probably does come up in the like top final video game bosses' musics quite often, does this one.
I'd put it in top boss fights in general, because Gruntilda isn't just like a random person who's been sending bad guys to fires. Well, I guess she is to a certain degree, but unlike Bowser in Mario 64, who just kind of lords it up whenever you get into a boss fight, she's been like taking pot shots and insulting us throughout the entire game, and this is the first chance we've had to take her like head on, and it just feels really cathartic.
Well, yes, I mean also the fact of she throws everything at you, so it's not like most other video game final bosses, or at least those that you fight beforehand in the games, because in those you just sort of... the bosses never really use their full power. Whereas here, Grunty is throwing everything at us.
And we're going to throw the gingers right back at her. That's for imprisoning us.
This is like the, that bit in Majora's Mask where you have to get the 4 giants to help you out, but now it's just like the 5 Jinjos. But we need eggs for power, I think, because that's how it works.
I love how the teddy bear's picnic portion comes into the song, but it's just like so much more fast and heroic.
I have to say, considering it's such a kind of... It's a childhood song, really, but it's really well used here, I think. And the fact that it is used in the final boss just makes it all the better.
The double honeycombs is immensely helpful for this boss fight, especially for the final phase where she's throwing down really powerful spells at you. Go, Yellow Jinjo, you're our last hope.
The strongest Jinjo, of course.
Oh, the strongest Jinjo's coming, mate, don't you worry.
Well, it doesn't matter because I have a shield from Sonic 3.
Wait for it, it's coming. Just gotta dodge some fireballs for the time being. I prefer to Serpentine, and then use the Wonder Wing to block this.
Puppy power!
Fuck off!
Sorry, I had to get it in for the final boss somewhere.
Giga Jinjo.
The Gingernator. You gotta fire eggs into all 4 of the holes now. That's right, the fireballs can go through the statue. This is a really shitty move from Tilda.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Well, she is trying to kill you, so I mean it's perfectly within her right to use magic fireballs that defy the laws of physics.
Yeah, how dare you try and take your sister back and then defeat me for what I've done. To hell with you.
Maybe she's just firing magic missiles that aren't supposed to miss.
Just be on the lookout for that really nasty green spell sound effect, which was literally just about to fire.
Oh my god, the eyes. Oh, got Ty.
Jinjo-nator.
He's got like Mewtwo powers.
Oh, he's going. He's going.
Now let me just boot up a bit here.
Let's see if your shield can withstand these mighty blows.
I think the Gingernator's certainly going to bring her down.
Oh, Richie, you are adorable. And again. And again. And again. Just keep going. I could watch this all day.
He's beating the hell out of her.
I believe he's described as the Jinjo's god, or something similar. You can certainly see why, because look at this shit. And whiff. In the original version of the game, that hits Banjo-Kazooie, turns them into a frog, and then Tooty has to do some collecting or some shit. That may have not even made it into the beta. I'm just, like, reading off trivia here.
That would have been interesting, actually.
And scene. I love the Gruntilda-shaped hole. It's so cartoony.
Buried by a pile of shit, just like in life.
Well, buried by part of a castle. Doubly ironic. Oh dear. You buried alive. Where the fuck have you gone, Klongo?
Just waiting for the second game.
Yeah, Gruntilda's going to be under that rock for about 2 years, and all the worms eat her flesh, and she's a skeleton.
Ew.
Wonderful.
This is Hammerhead Beach.
Ah, nice.
Got some brewskis.
I think we deserve it. We 100% of the game.
Is that a human woman back there?
Yes, and I think Nintendo did not care for her melons, so they requested actual melons in front of said melons.
Well, it's a nice double entendre, actually. I think that works out.
I think it may be even more of a double entendre because we have 2 melons and then there is a banana. Oh dear, rare.
She always sounds like she's being hurt when she talks. Ow, ooh, ah, oh, ow.
Well, being Tooty is a disgrace, so it makes sense that her existence should also be painful. Okay, so we've got Tooty's approval. I guess all we need to be proper heroes now is Mumbo's approval. Where is that shaman shit?
Well, no, surely to have true hero status, we need to have the approval of the gods in Olympus Coliseum.
Ugh. We're the champs! Oh my god!
You won the prize! Oh, there's Klungo! Where the fuck were you?
Klungo was just waiting for enemy roll call. 'Tis a rare tradition.
Well, no, maybe Klungo went to the loo whilst we went into that room, and then he just got out, and it's just like, oh, Grunty's dead. Well, not dead, but she's not here.
Sorry,
Oh.
sorry, I was leveling up my Pokemon. Just beat Lieutenant Surge.
Who plays video games on the toilet anyway? I always found that was a problem.
I do.
Well, I mean, you need to use your hand for wiping and stuff. So
Okay, you didn't need to bring in the realistic implications of this shit. I was
I'm
making
just saying.
I was making it all whimsical and whatnot, whatever. I guess since we're going to be talking extras and such in the next part, how have you guys enjoyed your Banjo-Kazooie Talkathon experience? Richie, as always, the most important one, I'm going to talk to you first.
Okay.
Fucking terrible.
It's been pretty damn fun, yeah. I mean, I think from what I can tell, Banjo is certainly a game that is more fun to play than it is to watch.
Well, thanks for shitting on our audience, I guess.
Well, no, but like there are certain games which the experience of playing is much more enjoyable than the experience of watching. I mean, I'd say my Prince of Persia run is a prime example of that.
Well, Prince of Persia, you can't really die, so...
Well, no, but it's an enjoyable game to play, but it can get slightly dull to watch at points. I mean, like, obviously what happened with Rusty Bucket Bay.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's been really fun, and I think, should I ever eventually, and hopefully I will get Rare Replay, I will definitely make sure to play Banjo at some point in the future.
Damn straight. THD, drop a beat.
Well, here's my opinion about the game. I would say it's not very lame.
Okay, thank you.
You asked for it, dude. Anyway.
that has literally been leading up to that moment. Go for it.
But legitimately, I really do think Banjo-Kazooie would have been a game I would have really enjoyed, in my younger years if I did have an N64 in this game. It's given me I've sort of now been in the mood to kind of go play a more traditional platform. I'm actually kind of really hankering to play Super Mario Galaxy, kind of in the same, idea of like traversing all these different locations and kind of doing this stuff. But it was fun to watch. Like, I love the game. Definitely has a lot of charm and love put into it, and a lot of very memorable characters, and I can really appreciate that. And the games Rare used to make back then are. We're not really going to see anything like that. Yooka-Laylee, it's a lot of the core Rare group, and we're not going to get anything direct from Rare itself. And I think Banjo is kind of done, to be honest with you, because how do we do it now, it probably won't work out. So it's good to have something to look back on for the good Rare days, and I really think this game does exemplify the best of the Rare brand back then.
For me, this is... I would probably say this is Rare's best game. Tui, I felt, was very, very good. A little bit too much. There was just a little bit too much... I don't even want to say filler. A little bit too much content, and it felt slightly unfocused. Whereas Banjo is just kind of laser precision when it came to like the progression of collectibles and such. And I would honestly say this is one of the best 3D collectathon platformers of all time. Much better than Super Mario 64, although that's not a bad game in any sense of the word. And I think Banjo-Kazooie has aged a lot better than 64, and I just love it. It's one of my favourite games ever. And now we're just going to watch the enemy roll call. We're running out of things to say, and it's like 9:30 at night. I'm tired.
Well, that's for your time. For me, it's 4:36 p.m. around.
So you have no excuse, Hell Dragon.
Seriously.
No, I can think of a few excuses. I gotta make dinner. Oh, I got some things I gotta prepare for. So much lounging to do. I mean, you have no idea.
Let's rate the enemies as they come past. That's always a good thing to do.
Shit.
Hissed up, 0 out of 10.
Wasn't even an enemy.
Yes, exactly.
Jiggy, totally terrible enemy. Does not even attack you at all.
I think that's my favourite pun in the game. Tumblar the Tumbler. Hate these guys. They scared the piss out of me as a child.
They look like smelly goblins.
You're a smelly goblin.
What? God, you're just suddenly getting really harsh with me all of a sudden. You okay, man?
They're called the Gravestone Ripper. Rah, what are you doing to us?
That's...
Thank you, Hell Dragon.
Gotta have that, required thing. And again, don't make a monster out of TNT, because shit like that happens. Oh, a bigger version, thank you. I better rate that higher.
The Yoshi's Island style of creating bosses.
I just feel like all of a sudden we're like really snooty, art critics criticizing cartoonish enemies in a video game. Like, oh, well, it's a flotsam and he's a Jolly Rancher on the wall. That's totally not great design.
Seaman. That's all I have to say there.
Ladies and gentlemen, penis.
Exquisite, the New York Times. HellfireComms is the best commentary group.
And the snap thingy was clapping that statement because obviously it's entirely correct.
I don't know why it keeps happening when I'm saying stuff that should be agreed with. It's just a massive coincidence.
Okay, the Zubbas were really stupid though. Like, they rammed you when you had invincibility. I mean, come on.
Well, they don't know what the Wonder Wing's all about. Yeah, the Grublin Hoods have, like, woolly coats in winter. It's great. Click-clock wood. 10 out of 10.
Okay, a root is not really an enemy, per se. It doesn't even have googly eyes. A cheetah wasn't a bad guy. He helped us.
Well, it's creature roll call, then, I guess.
He's just circling around the beach again. I got nowhere to go. There's no boat.
The slowest one-person race in existence.
I'm winning.
Oh, Mumbo!
Baby, come back!
I'm pretty sure this cutscene is different if you don't have all 100 jiggies, but of course we did it good and proper, so give us them deets, Mumbo. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, that was something planned, but it didn't really go through, did it?
We'll be talking about that in the extras video.
I have to say, I like the fact that they were, obviously, they knew that they'd made a really good game, and I think they probably suspected that they would get a sequel, but it's kind of just like, being so ballsy as to say, yes, we are making a sequel, despite the fact that they hadn't probably even gotten confirmation from Nintendo that they were going to be allowed to do that.
Can I just say, this is a really, really personal nitpick, like, to the point of absurdity, but just going back to nuts and bolts, I don't really like the fact that that game has a character called Lord of Games who literally says, oh yeah, the entire world is a video game, you're living in a video game, and there's like no subtlety to it, whereas Banjo and Kazooie and Banjo-Tooie just like usually go nudge nudge wink wink, yes, this is a video game, and in Nuts and Bolts they're kind of just like movie characters, like aged movie characters, and it's not really as funny or clever anymore.
It's kind of pathetic, yeah. Like, here, they're just they're taking the piss, obviously, and that makes sense, but in Nuts and Bolts, they're really way too fucking direct about it, and it's just kind of sad, to be honest.
Alright, let's see these secrets.
That's a neat trick, for the N64, while you're having this, you're running this footage at the same time.
And this was definitely not there when we went through Treasure Trove Cove. You've got to use special codes, which I'll be revealing in the next part in order to get into these secret areas. Oh god, platforming. My one weakness is a platform. Everybody hates Kazooie.
Well, Kazooie's a bitch.
As it should be, because big mouths never prosper.
Well, I don't know. It seems to have worked out pretty well for me.
You could have said me and also been correct. Except for the prosper part. Ray, you probably could have stood to cut this down a little bit.
Yeah, it's like I think we get the thing that you've got to climb up to the top. You don't need to spoil what's up at the damn top.
That is an egg, thank you. It's made by the Riddler, apparently.
No, just because you put a question mark on it doesn't mean the audience won't be able to guess what it is.
It's a disappointment.
Well, I suppose the concept was a little bit of a disappointment, but more of which next time.
This one's going to be that key, isn't it?
Uh-huh. This one you can just kind of see direct. They weren't even trying to hide this. But it was just tantalizingly out of reach the entire time because of that sheet of ice.
Here it is, you can't touch it, goodbye.
Oh, the ice key. Oh, Kazooie. Wah wah.
Does she have a fetish for that? I'm not gonna judge, I just...
Best not to ask. Here is another secret.
This is just like one big advertisement for make sure you buy the sequel.
Basically.
Except obviously, as we will find out in the next part, none of this actually kind of came true.
Why do we have a next part? We should have just spoiled it here.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd say this is a really weird way to end your game, if I'm honest. Or just because it's just like... It's very drawn out to say... Well, it's a very drawn out way of saying we're getting a sequel, we've got secrets, and it just keeps going and going and going. It's just like, just keep it brief.
Well, don't forget this is the secret ending. You can not get this cutscene if you're playing normally.
True.
Yeah, just release it as DLC, it'll be fine.
DLC for an X64 game. The mind boggles.
That would be weird. Maybe a separate expansion pack kind of thing?
Klongo! Wow, nighttime in Spyro Mountain.
Klongo represent us deformed scientists everywhere.
I'll be back in Banjo-Tooie! Tee-hee-hee-hee! Tee-hee-hee-hee! The rhymes are done. We'll see you guys next time for the final part of Banjo-Kazooie, when we cover the extras. See you then! Gah!